Welcome back to Stories Spot, where we dive into the wild world of Reddit's AITA. Today, we've got some jaw-dropping stories that will have you questioning who's really in the wrong. And trust me, the last one is a real shocker. So grab a snack, buckle up, and stick around to the end, because you'll definitely want to weigh in on the drama. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments who you think is the true a-hole. AITAH for laughing at my crying ex-husband and calling his suffering karma. My ex-husband divorced me 3 years ago. When we got married, we agreed that we weren't going to have kids. I never wanted them. He said he didn't really want them. So, yeah. 4 years into our marriage, he changed his mind, and he chose to divorce me because I wouldn't go back on our agreement and give him children. I'm not really a big believer in divorce. I was ready to be married for the rest of our lives. We had a good marriage, but I guess he didn't love me that much if he picked kids that didn't even exist over me. Right after our divorce, he almost instantly remarried. He got his new wife pregnant right away, and they have 2 kids together. In the 3 years since then, I have completed my higher education and accepted a high-paying job in healthcare. Life has actually been pretty good for me. And I've gotten to the point where I think I'm ready to start looking to settle down. Yesterday morning, my ex-husband showed up on my doorstep crying. I figured something pretty awful must have happened, so I let him in and got him a drink. He started going on and crying about how awful his life is. He apparently hates his 2 kids. One of them is disabled and maybe autistic, and he has no money due to the kid being so expensive. His wife yells at him all the time. She got fat after having kids and doesn't want to lose the weight. She never puts out, he can never go anywhere anymore. He said that he wants a divorce from his new wife, and he regrets ever leaving me. He asked if I would take him back, and said he learned his lesson. I couldn't help but laugh at him. It was so pitiful. His audacity also kind of astounded me. I told him that with 2 kids to support and his lack of loyalty, he is not a catch, and I definitely won't take him back. And maybe this was karma for divorcing me. He was pissed, called me an asshole, and said he thought I would be more supportive and would at least turn him down nicely. AITAH? AITAH for not punishing my son for showing his boner to his aunt? So, I'm a single mum, and I have a son who is 15. 2 days ago, my sister visited us in the evening. At that time, my son was sleeping in his room. His room is towards the back of the house, and to get to the bathroom, you have to pass by his room. After some small talk, my sister went to use the bathroom, but halfway there, she yelled. I ran up to her and she was pointing at my son's room, whose door was open. I peeked inside and my son had a boner in his sleep. He was still sleeping even through the yelling. He's a heavy sleeper. I immediately closed the door and told her to calm down, as it was unintentional and was natural for boys his age to have sleep boners. She insisted he was a pervert and was awake when she saw him. I went back to his room, and he still had a boner and had saliva out of his mouth. That's when I knew he really was asleep. I didn't bother waking him up. I went back and told her that he really is asleep, but she didn't believe me and called it enabling behaviour. She also said that I had a weird relationship with my son where I was comfortable with his genitals. I lost my shit at that and told her to get out. She told my parents yesterday, and Dad is on my side. He said that it's totally natural for a boy his age. Mum told me I needed to take stricter action so that it doesn't happen again. I told my son to sleep with his door closed next time, but there wasn't any punishment for him. ITAH. Edit. There have been some developments and thought I'll update. I spoke with my son, he knows about the situation, and is embarrassed, to say the least. He, however, insisted that he'd close the door before sleeping. My sister is 30 and single. She declared herself as asexual and has no interest in starting a family. She's been molested a few times in public transport, and men here are definitely horrendous. She'd been poked, groped and flashed many times. to the point she now avoids public transport. I don't use it because of this reason itself. Maybe this was a trigger for her actions. She's been to my house several times in the past and had a good relationship with my son before. She definitely knew where the bathroom was. I called her up in a conference call with my parents and asked her directly why she'd gone peeking in her nephew's room without permission. According to her, she wanted to say hi, and then she saw it. She swore that she saw him with his eyes open and was touching himself through his pants. I called BS and told her he could do whatever he wanted in his own room, in his own house, as long as he was private. I also told her she needed therapy and not to contact me again without starting it. Cue angry words from her and tears from Mum. I'm going no contact with her and low contact with Mum. My son is smart for his age and understands everything. He's angry at his aunt and mighty embarrassed too, but he swore he wasn't doing anything. I believe him. AITA for telling my wife to go to a mental asylum after she asked my sister to dress modestly around me. My wife, my sister and I went on a 1-week vacation last week. I had just gotten my bonus and wanted to use it on the vacation. I asked my sister if she wanted to join us because she was still really sad about breaking up with her fiancé who had cheated on her, and I wanted to get her mind off of it. My sister was really excited about the trip. Our vacation was amazing, however. My wife and I did have a minor argument during the vacation. For the vacation, I had booked 2 separate rooms at the hotel, one for my wife and I, and one for my sister. I did give my sister our spare hotel room key, and she was free to come in any time she wanted. Every morning, my sister would come in to just hang out and talk with us as we planned the rest of the day. She usually wore an oversized shirt. However, a few days into our vacation, my sister spoke to me privately and told me my wife asked her to dress more modestly around me. My sister seemed really sad and asked if she was intruding on our vacation. I was shocked and told my sister to relax and that I would speak to my wife about it. I spoke to my wife about it, and we had sort of a mini argument. My wife wasn't really close to her brother. In fact, she hated him, so she didn't understand how my sister and I could be so close, and also dress so casually around each other. I told my wife we dressed casually around each other our whole life. I usually just wore shorts in the house growing up till I left for college. And I asked my wife what was so inappropriate about my sister wearing an oversized shirt. My wife asked why my sister wasn't at least wearing shorts, and I then told my wife she had to go to a mental asylum, and she was ruining the vacation with her crazy behaviour. That was a bit harsh, but that did put a stop to our argument. My wife, however, did seem somewhat sad, but she got over her sadness, and the rest of our vacation went by smoothly. Was I the AH? AITAH for not agreeing to sleep in a bra. I, 22F, recently went on a small family trip to celebrate my dad's early retirement. A family friend let us borrow their lake house, but sleeping arrangements meant that I had to share a room with my sister, 24F, and her husband, 30M, in a room with 2 beds. They're newlyweds who married quickly, so this is his first time going on a trip with us. I really didn't think it was going to be an issue because with the whole lake available to us, we wouldn't be spending much time in the rooms. The first night, there was no problem. The second night, my sister pulled me aside right before I went to go get ready for bed and asked me to change what I was sleeping in, because her husband was uncomfortable. For context, this might be TMI and I am sorry, I am not a flat-chested woman. It is quite literally the most annoying thing about my life, and I am not sorry that I do not sleep in a bra. That being said, it wasn't like I was sleeping in lingerie. It was just a big t-shirt, but because of how I'm built, you could still tell I was braless. I've never thought it was a big deal, but her husband is rather conservative, in all senses of the word. I politely told my sister no because the only things I brought were A swimsuits, which would be even worse beats. A tight compression sports bra for beach volleyball, which I don't think is even medically advisable to sleep in and see. A sweatshirt, which I guess would disguise it more, but it was hot and I didn't want to wear it. She pressed me again and I said no again, pointing out that her husband slept shirtless. I don't actually care, but it seemed hypocritical to me, so I said that if I am asked to find a way to cover up more, despite wearing a shirt, he should. She got mad at me and said I was being ridiculous and staring at her husband. God, no, I would never. And kept raising a stink and trying to involve the rest of my family, saying it was a simple request and I must be trying to tempt her husband. I loudly fired back that this wouldn't be a problem if her husband wasn't staring at my chest, which prompted my parents to have me sleep on the couch in the living room the rest of the trip. I also made it a point for the rest of the trip to loudly call her husband out if he was looking too long at my chest in my swimsuit, which happened a couple times before he learned his lesson. I didn't think I overreacted. I might have gotten a bit heated, but it was in line with my sister. But my family has kind of blamed me for ruining my dad's celebration by not letting it go, and I can't help but feel guilty. AITAH? AITAH for divorcing my husband after discovering his secret sleepovers with our babysitter. My husband and I have been married for 5 years. Recently, I found out that he has been spending extra time with our babysitter, a 20-year-old woman who looks after our kids on weekends. What shocked me was overhearing them casually mention that she stayed over a few nights. My husband insists that nothing happened and that she just crashed at our place after late nights. But I feel betrayed. I confronted him and he swore it was purely innocent. He told me I was being paranoid. But I can't get past the fact that he hid this from me. We've always promised to be honest and transparent with each other, and this feels like a serious breach of trust. Now I'm questioning everything. AITAH for wanting a divorce because I can't trust him anymore? AITA for telling my straight friend. If she wants to go to a queer bar in our city, she can't be upset if lesbians, sapphic women hit on either of us. I, 24F, have this straight friend, Claire, 25F, who's been all about going to queer bars lately. She says she feels safer there, likes the atmosphere, and doesn't have to deal with creepy guys. I'm glad she's comfortable, but there's been this underlying issue every time we go out. She gets really uncomfortable when women hit on either of us. I'm a bisexual woman, and we go to a lesbian bar every other weekend because we like the atmosphere. Last weekend, we went to our favourite spot, and a gorgeous masked girl started chatting with me at the bar. She was so cute. We clicked, and she offered to buy me a drink. I said yes, and we were flirting a bit, but when Claire saw, she pulled me aside and asked, "Are you seriously going to flirt with her?" I asked what the problem was, and she made this face and said, "It's just weird. Like, you've dated guys, you obviously like men. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it." That really rubbed me the wrong way. Just because I've dated men before doesn't mean I'm not bisexual, and it felt like she was invalidating my sexuality. But I brushed it off at the time and went back to talk to the girl. As the night went on, she asked if I wanted to leave with her, and I was into it, so I told Claire I was heading out. Claire was shocked and said, "Wait, you're going home with her?" When I said yes, she got upset and started saying how she didn't think it was a big deal for me, since I usually date guys. That's when I finally snapped. I told her that if she wants to keep coming to queer bars, she needs to stop acting like it's strange for me to flirt with women or for women to hit on us. It's a queer space, that's the whole point. And just because I've dated men doesn't mean I'm not bi. I also told her it was pretty entitled to enjoy the vibe of queer spaces, but then act uncomfortable when people flirt with us like it's a bad thing. She got defensive, saying she's not homophobic, but just doesn't like being put in uncomfortable situations. She even tried to say I should understand, since she's straight, like I should somehow protect her from this. I told her to get her own ride home and went home with the woman I had been flirting with. Now she's been distant, and a couple of friends think I was too harsh, but I feel like I'm allowed to be bi and date, hook up with other women without her making it a big deal. AITA. AITAH for asking my daughter what she expected would happen when she started a family across the country. I have 2 daughters, Emma, 28, and Lizzie, 25. Emma went to college across the country and, upon graduating, got a job and stayed there. She's now married with a 2-year-old son. I did a lot of the mother of the bride stuff through FaceTime, as, due to my work schedule and finances, I couldn't fly out there for everything. So, for example, I FaceTimed into dress shopping. I did fly down 2 weeks prior to the wedding to help get everything ready. When Emma was pregnant, I kept talking to her friends planning it, asking them to tell me when it was so I could take enough time off work. Emma ended up changing the date, and there was no way I could afford to fly out on top of taking time off, especially to be there after the baby was born, as Emma wanted. So, once again, FaceTime to the rescue. I flew in and was there for her induction and stayed 2 weeks after. I have flown out to visit 4 times since Emma has come to me 3 times. I do talk to Emma on the phone at least once a day. I FaceTime my grandbaby, etc. I am not physically present, but I want to be as emotionally present as possible. Emma and I discuss everything, and she often says she's glad we still have a close relationship. Lizzie went to a state school and moved back to our town after graduating. Therefore, I was able to physically be there for all of the big wedding moments, along with her pregnancy. I was at her baby shower. As she now lives down the street, I see her husband, and their now 1-year-old daughter at least 5 days a week. I watch the baby so they can go on date nights. We are very close. Emma and her family flew out for Lizzie's daughter's birthday. I watched both kids so their parents could have separate date nights. I got to do more for my grandson, which I loved. I took him on outings with just us. I got to spend some one-on-one time with Emma too. I thought it was a really nice visit. However, after returning home, Emma didn't reach out nor respond to my attempts at contact for 2 weeks. When she finally did, I asked her if everything was all right. She said that being back in town made her realise just how much I do for Lizzie and her husband. She said that I am way more active, that I don't visit her enough, etc. I reminded her that I don't have the money nor the time off to fly out often. I wish more than anything I did. I miss her and my grandson. Emma told me that I clearly have a favourite grandchild and I should spend more time with him. I kept trying to find ways I could do more from a distance, but she kept rebuffing them and saying the only way to make it better would be to visit more. I finally asked what she expected to happen when she decided to start a family cross-country. I am so proud of her and all she's accomplished. I supported the move, but she also is aware of my situation. It'd be one thing to say, hey, it sucks we can't see each other more. But she can't move far away and expect everyone to come to her when they financially can't. Emma and I ended the call. I have since tried to talk to her, check on her mental health, etc. She refuses to talk about anything deeper than her day-to-day and the little one. She told her father, my ex, who lives closer to her. He called me to say that I was wrong to tell her this and that I should have just let her keep laying it on me. AITA? AITAH for firing my sister after she exposed our family's darkest secrets at work. Hi everyone, I, 28F, am the founder and CEO of a small tech company that I've poured my heart into over the past 5 years. 6 months ago, my younger sister, 24F, lost her job due to downsizing. Despite our rocky relationship, we're polar opposites. I decided to hire her. I'm introverted and value privacy. She's extroverted and often speaks without thinking. Initially, things went smoothly. She brought enthusiasm to the team and I was hopeful this could strengthen our sisterly bond. However, I began noticing colleagues giving me odd looks and whispering when I wasn't around. During a team lunch, one employee casually mentioned a deeply personal family incident, joking about it as if it were common knowledge. I was stunned. I pulled my sister aside and asked if she'd been sharing personal family stories. She admitted she had, saying it helped her connect with others and that it was no big deal. I stressed that our family's history is private and that discussing it at work was unprofessional. She brushed me off, calling me overly sensitive. A couple of weeks later, I discovered she'd told several employees about our parents' tumultuous divorce, and even shared that our mother had struggled with substance abuse, a painful chapter we've worked hard to move past. This wasn't just embarrassing, it felt like a profound betrayal. I confronted her again, but she accused me of trying to control her and said I was letting my CEO status go to my head. Realising that this was jeopardising not only my reputation but also the company's culture, I made the difficult decision to terminate her employment for breaching confidentiality and unprofessional conduct. She was furious, accusing me of choosing work over family and vowing to never forgive me. Our parents are now involved and believe I overreacted. They think I should have been more understanding and given her another chance. This whole situation has left me questioning myself. I feel guilty for firing her, but also feel that I had to protect my company and personal boundaries. So, Reddit, AITA, for firing my sister after she exposed our family's darkest secrets at work. First update. I reached out to a friend who still works at the company where my sister was previously employed. He confirmed that she was indeed fired, but not just because of the downsizing she mentioned. According to him, she had a knack for orchestrating gossip and creating conflicts among co-workers. She would spread rumours and stir up drama, which led to a toxic work environment and decreased team morale. Her behaviour was disruptive enough that the company decided to let her go to preserve the integrity and productivity of the workplace. Hearing this from someone who was there really reinforces my decision to terminate her employment at my company. It seems her pattern of behaviour has consistently caused problems wherever she goes, and I had to prioritise the well-being of my team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding as I navigate this difficult situation. Second update. Spoke to my parents about her actions. Hi everyone. I wanted to share an update on the situation with my sister. I recently had a detailed conversation with my parents about the rumours she was spreading at work, especially regarding her substance abuse and our parents' divorce. I explained how her behaviour was disrupting the workplace and shared the specific complaints from employees who felt uncomfortable. Additionally, I informed them about what a friend who still works at her previous company told me, that she was fired for orchestrating gossip and creating conflict among co-workers. My parents are now very angry with her for sharing our family's private matters and for causing turmoil in my company. They also apologised to me for not recognising the severity of her actions sooner and for any additional stress this has caused our family. Having their support has been a huge relief and reinforces that I made the right decision to prioritise my business and team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding during this difficult time. Wow, what a ride! Thanks for sticking around until the end, especially for that last story. If you've got thoughts, I want to hear them. Drop your opinions in the comments below and let me know who you think was in the wrong. And hey, if you enjoyed today's stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to StorySpot for more wild Reddit drama every week. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next juicy story. See you in the next one.